All right, we're going to start our study session. Councilman Gilliland will be here in just a moment, but I want to be mindful of your time. And so, for our study session tonight, Sandy, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, I'd like to give you an update first on the current state of affairs of the city regarding the recent winter storm that we had in October. Right now, we are making the second pass. We started yesterday.
Good.
Making the second pass through town. Arnold has told me that he expects to be finished by the end of the week.
Does that include going to our parks?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll have all the park stuff cut up and taken away by Friday?
Yes.
Wow. I'm impressed.
We are on day 37. The self-haulers have brought in 5,621 cubic yards. The contractor, Arbor Master, has brought in a total of 58,696 cubic yards. The total of cost to that is $463,698.40. City crews have brought in a total of 9,556 cubic yards. So overall, our cubic yardage has been 73,873 cubic yards. One of the items on the agenda this evening is to increase the amount by $200,000 of what we will have to pay for this ice storm for Arbor Masters and the tub grinder, all of the expenses involved in that.
Will that be enough, do you think, to make it to Friday?
Yes, yes.
Does that include the overtime that we're paying for our city crews? Because they've been working Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yes, we believe that the total of $700,000 will be enough.
Okay. And do we know yet if that's going to be reimbursed by FEMA?
We have not heard whether or not it has been declared.
Mm-hmm.
So,
How long do we have the tub grinder currently?
we don't have it yet.
That's for all the stuff that's out at Frisco Road, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right, all the branches and the limbs and everything are out there right now, and they are just piling all of those up. So we don't have the tub grinder out there yet.
So when the tub grinder gets here, is it our city crews that will take care of that?
No, actually it is the service that has the tub grinder.
Okay.
They will be doing all of that, and then someone else will come and pick up the bags of mulch and take that and treat it and turn it into mulch.
I had someone ask me that. Are we selling the mulch or just saying,
We're not.
please take it?
We're not.
We feel lucky just to have it hauled away for free.
Yeah, please take it.
Because there's plenty of it.
Okay, okay. I like that.
Yeah, so we're very grateful to Arbor Masters and to our city employees because they've been out there every day since this happened.
Right.
They put in a lot of overtime. They worked over Thanksgiving break. We really appreciate all of their efforts.
And I'm just impressed with Yukon. I know Oklahoma City is saying it may be March before they have theirs put away. And it was a safety issue because at times you couldn't see around corners. So it was a lot of safety issue and then also cosmetic. But
Yeah, they're running way behind.
Mhm.
So we're proud to be on time and,
Right.
and be this far ahead. The location at Route 66 and Frisco Road where the debris is going to close to the public on December the 15th. So we will be able to keep it closed then and bring the tub grinder in and have those people
Okay.
chop that up, grind it up, and get everything else ready. But December 15th is the deadline.
Okay. And I hear it's going to snow tomorrow, so we just pray it's snow. No ice. But there are no limbs left, so.
No.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions about the storm?
Yeah, I'm sorry for being late. How are we doing on the, I think a lot of the right-of-ways have been cleaned up, but what about like the drainage ditches that go in behind the neighborhoods and?
We have not started any drainage ditches.
Well, do we have an update like on the time frame? I know last time we were talking about maybe even March before we even get to it.
I think we're a little ahead of schedule.
Okay.
All right.
Hopefully finish Friday, so I believe we'll be going into the ditches and things like
He
that
said-
next week.
He
Okay.
said by Friday we would have the parks all cleaned up.
Great, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? All right, what else do you have for
Okay.
us?
Our next item is a discussion of the EMS service. Pafford is here tonight, and I believe you all have a copy of the presentation. It's a little bit different than the one they presented the night that they were here. This one you'll be able to read. I think there was some pretty small type on the other one, and we couldn't read it. Pafford, tonight on your agenda, you will be asked to approve the assumption of the Samaritan contract by Pafford. It is no different. They're not changing anything on that contract, but they are asking on the new contract, they are asking for a subsidy of $13,000 a month. That is going to total $156,000 for the year. It will just be $78,000 to the end of our fiscal year. And you'll also see on our budget amendments that we will be asking for that amount for a budget amendment as well. Just to give you a little bit of history, so that you can see why they have asked for a subsidy. In fiscal year 17, we paid the city paid $48,000 to them. It was not a full year, but we did pay them $48,000. In fiscal year 2018, this was paid by the city, and then plus the opt-ins, the total was $229,907.81. Now, in
That was to Samaritan.
right. In 2019, the memberships only were $327,759.05. Okay, and fiscal year 20, it was $311,122.13. So you can see there's already a decline. So far this year, the total is $126,081.57. So they've had a lot of people that have opted out of the program. And that is why they're asking for the subsidy of $13,000. Now, I want to give you a little bit of history. With that, we have right now, we have on the average, we've got around 6,600 memberships, the people that have opted in. Yearly, that's about almost $300,000. Okay, when we had IMSA, the last year that we had IMSA, we didn't have them a full year. It compared to $136,398. If you take that and average it out for 12 months, it would have been $202,792. Back in 2013, 2014, we paid them $255,712. So over the course of 4 years, we paid IMSA $790,730.
And that's just to be an ambulance service. That doesn't pay for anyone's membership.
No.
That's just to be our ambulance.
We didn't have it set up like we have it set up now, where you can opt in or opt out.
Right. Okay.
So we were just paying for their service to service Yukon, but they weren't stationed here. That was not included in their contract.
Do we know what the major reason is for the decline in memberships?
Economy?
I think it's the economy. I think that when, I think there was some bad press that came out. I think a lot of people didn't want to go ahead and renew with them, and so they were in at first, and then there's always the people that think that their water bill is too high, and then that tacked onto it. It made it even higher. So I think that had something to do with it. But the other part of this is that while they will be paying we will be paying $13,000 to them, they have decided that they would like to lease our old fire station number 2 to station their ambulances rather than on industrial where they have been. This will provide a better response time, and it will be much better for them. We're working out the arrangements right now because there's some repairs and maintenance that needs to be done on that building. So right now we're looking at $2,200 that we will be bringing back in to the city.
So
Whereas
it'll be
13
11.
will go out
Yeah.
per month, and then
Mhm.
2,200 will come back in.
So that, the renting deal, is that only if the other is approved?
Well, right now it's with Samaritan, and there's an item in the agenda that asks you to approve the assumption. They are going to assume their contract. So then they will provide another contract that will include the $13,000. So if you don't approve that, then
We have no ambulance
we have no
service.
ambulance service.
Somebody asked me this, and I'm sure you all know this, why our fire department doesn't run our ambulance service.
The cost that would be involved in that
Mhm.
would be astronomical. There would be much more training for us to buy all of the equipment.
More expensive.
It would be unbelievable.
Okay.
And the other part of that is getting the bills back. Jim had been in that service before in Norman, and he said that most of the time you wouldn't get 50% back.
Mhm. When charging people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
By all means. One of my questions is on that membership. I understand that when you come up to pay your water bill, this is when you put in for your membership. Well, I have talked to a lot of folks, and they've had some issues about that extra money. So I'm working to ensure the veterans are squared away, and we're going to work that out. But let's say the person doesn't pay for that membership. Now what does he do, or what does she do?
Then they will get a bill. Their insurance will pay for whatever their insurance pays for their ambulance bill, and then they will have to pay the rest.
The difference in it.
Yeah,
All right.
whatever.
All right. Well, we're working right now trying to make sure the veterans are squared away, and we'll help anybody else that needs it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What efforts do we make to promote the opt-in? Does the general household know that that's available to them?
We advertise in the bill itself. There's a flyer that is in everyone's water bill. We advertise on that. We also advertise in the newspaper. We
Oh.
advertise on social media.
How often does that flyer go out in the water bill?
It goes out once a month.
And is it a yearly opt-in, or can you opt in at any time?
It's a yearly opt-in. Now, people that just move in, they can also opt in at that time.
Okay.
They move in if it's in the middle of the year.
I know some people, they come from Oklahoma City, or they live, in Oklahoma City, and they think that, well, it's included in their water bill.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Oklahoma City pays for that, but EMSA doesn't come out here.
Right.
And so if I live on 10th Street, and so if I get sick across the street at OnQ, my husband has been instructed to drag me onto the other north side of 10th Street because we need to be in Yukon. So instead, because he doesn't want to drag me across 10th Street, we buy both policies. We have an EMSA and a Samaritan, because I spend a lot of time in Oklahoma City, and so I think people need to be aware that if you buy the Yukon one and you're in Oklahoma City, that you need another policy also.
So the 13,000 a month, we're just talking about the rest of the budget year? Or are we
Yeah.
talking about a long-term contract at that amount?
Well, we're only extending the contract until the end of this fiscal year, which is June 30th to 2021.
I think it would be important to keep in mind that if our justification for the 13,000 a month is that we're down to 6,600 households, but if 6 months from now we're at 7,600 households, we need to be able to adjust that 13,000 down.
That will be something that we'll be able to negotiate.
So so basically what I'm asking is, will we cap the contract amount? And if the household use goes up, then our monthly subsidy should come down to match
Well,
that.
I can't predict that right now, what the numbers are going to do, but when it comes time to negotiate for the next year's contract, then we'll have to take a look at the numbers and work with Pafford. They've been great to work with. Our fire department works with them every day, and they've been great to work with.
So the 13,000 is set until the new fiscal year.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know off the top of your head, how many total households do we have?
Around 8,800.
And how many do we
That's
have
not
that are
bad.
opting in?
66?
6,000, on this sheet that I've got right here, we've got currently 6,548 accounts.
Well, that's a good percentage. Mhm. And some of those may be Medicare households, and their insurances, their ambulance ride is free.
And then the current monthly charge for the opt-in is how much?
It is $45 a year,
I'm sorry.
$45
$45?
a year.
Okay.
Any other questions, concerns, comments?
Yeah, I guess I'm just kind of hung up on, we have a contracted amount that they're going to assume if we approve the assumption of the contract, right? Plus the 13,000.
Yes,
But they would stand to profit for every household from now on that joins for the rest of the fiscal year. That would be above and beyond the contracted amount.
The only people that can join between now and the end of the fiscal year are move-ins.
Okay, so then why are we sending out advertisement every month?
For those people that
We
are
don't
moving in.
send-
We're not, she didn't say every month.
no.
Well, I asked how often the flyer goes out to let people know they could enroll, and the answer was each month.
I'm sorry, maybe I didn't explain myself very well, but the flyer goes out every month, but we do not advertise that they can opt in every month.
Right.
It's only for a couple of months right before that time that they can
Okay.
opt in.
And does that coincide with the fiscal year?
Mhm.
I believe it's in March.
So it's
It gives them a
February,
couple
March,
months
when
to-
you're coming up.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so that answers my question then.
Okay. Anybody else? Do you have anything else for us tonight?
Not tonight. thank you.
Okay. At this time, we'll adjourn our study session, and we'll meet back here at 7 o'clock on the dot.